Have you tried to make a woman squirt and nothing has happened? Like, I mean, literally nothing has happened. It is drier than dry, or maybe moister than an oyster, and still nothing is going on. There is no actual release happening. I hate to break it to you, but it's probably not because she can't, but maybe perhaps because you are approaching it the wrong way. Now, contrary to what you might think, I'm not talking about having the perfect technique. I'm actually talking about your approach. Let me explain. Today we're breaking down why the most common G-spot techniques fail and what actually creates release. We'll cover quick anatomy, arousal, rhythm, and why pressure is not the same thing as pleasure. Now, if you're somebody who watches everything in times 2, times 3, times 4 speed and you want to skip right to the point, I've created a step-by-step digital guide to help you unlock her squirting flow and master G-spot stimulation. It's step-by-step with diagrams, angles, visual demonstrations, everything you need to unlock her waterfall. And it's linked down below just for you because you just can't wait. First things first, let's just dive right into a myth that every man seems to believe. And we have all been there at some point because you got to start somewhere, baby. We think the G-spot is you find the spot and you press harder and you go fast and you are gonna get soaked. But treating her G-spot like a magic button is the quickest way to get your woman to shut down. What most people actually get wrong is that release isn't a trick. It is a response. Your goal isn't to force something to happen. Your goal should be to actually build the right conditions where her body actually wants to let go. So we always want to create the right conditions first, then we can move into the technique. Now, if you're new here, you might not already know, but the conditions that you're looking to set is safety, build up, breath, and rhythm. You've got to check all of those off. And just because you're like, okay, we are safe in this room, there's nobody gonna break in the house, you trust me, I trust you. No, that is like bare minimum amount of safety. A woman's body needs to be able to relax and let go. So if that means helping your girl check things off of a list to let her brain relax, maybe it's her taking a shower by herself or going on a walk, or maybe it's you doing something where you can build that emotional connection first, then do it. Because that is how she is going to open up and feel safer in your presence. And this is where a lot of couples lack, is that emotional connection. And that is what majority of the women love for arousal, turn on, foreplay. And then we move into the buildup, which foreplay begins as soon as sex ends. So yeah, that means you are going all day long. Every day is priming. Every day is loving and taking care of your partner, just as we take care of you. And if that's not happening in your relationship, then no wonder why you're not having sex, because there is some fundamental issues going on outside of the bedroom. Because if it's not good outside of the bedroom, it's not good in the bedroom. Breath is one of the best ways to lead a woman into her body. Sync your breath with her breath. Get her to drop into her body. Presence is everything here. Then we move into rhythm. Rhythm is one where a lot of people struggle. Both men and women, we see it on both sides. I'm not saying it's just you, but this is self-explanatory and you'll need some video demonstrations for this. And then it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you figure it out, you figure it out. Now I want to touch on anatomy, because the truth is most men, let alone women, don't even know about their own anatomy. We know what we see, but we don't understand how complex it is. Now, I want to get through this as fast as possible, and we're just going to touch a little bit on it. So I'm just going to pop an image up right here. So the G-spot is actually inside the vaginal canal on that upper wall, but it is part of the whole clitoral network. So if we are not warmed up on the outside, we are definitely not warmed up on the inside. Think of the G-spot as a sponge that swells as arousal builds. A flat sponge equals very low sensation, meaning she is not primed. And an engorged sponge is really responsive, sensitive, and primed for release. Now, how do we wake it up? Now, most attempts fail because the body was not internally ready. Wetness is not the same thing as internal engorgement, and I think this is where most men actually fumble. Now, the best way to do this is wake her up nice nice and slow. So what that means is we are going to take our time and seduce her. Kissing, dirty talk, external touch, hip rocking and grinding, breath sinking, moaning, and leading her, because we need to give her time for blood to get to that sponge and fill it up and become engorged. It is literally like your erection, except for some people, they get it faster, where others need a little bit more time. We are the same, except for a lot of women, majority of women need more time. And for a lot of women, foreplay is the main event because that is where we get the majority of our orgasms. So once she's warmed up and she's asking you for more, she's pulling at your head, begging you to put it inside of her. We need to switch from like random pokes to predictable rhythm. I want you to think of press and rock on a steady beat, because consistency is actually going to help her lower her guard and let that sensation stack. Fast and frantic is going to spike her nervous system and you're going to get a shutdown right quick. I think one of the most actionable steps that I can give to you here is actually think about a rhythm that you could clap to. Clap to. You're about to make her clap. Talk to your partner, pause, read her body, ask her what feels good. Do you want it faster or slower? More like this or like that? Give her options so her brain doesn't have to brain. Then you want to increase your depth and your tempo when you can see her body starting to chase it. And you'll know what I mean when you get here. Now, finally, we need to talk about calibration, because everything just needs to blend in like cake mix. And one mistake that a lot of us will make when it comes to the bedroom is thinking more pressure equals more pleasure. And that couldn't be further than the truth. I want you to aim for more grounded contact. Think about contouring her innards. You want to think about that rather than like jabbing and scraping and digging. You know, like how somebody embraces you with a warm hug and your bodies just like melt into each other, or you're kissing somebody and your lips just seamlessly fit in between one another. If you're learning together, you can even use like a 1 out of 10 check-in. And you want to keep this number in between 6 to 8 kind of going back in between, because we all love a good tease. We want her where she is wanting more, but she is not bracing. So one thing, if you're not really ready to talk to her, which I mean, let's get ready to talk to her. If she starts bracing, she's going to start pulling back and possibly holding her breath. And what you're going to do is you're going to reduce your speed and reduce your pressure and check in. Now, I always say this, presence is a multiplier. Match her breath. Make some noise. Enjoy what you are eating, what you are playing with. Follow her hips instead of trying to control them. Release happens when her systems trust what is coming next. So the green lights are deeper exhales, pelvic rocks towards you, involuntary pulses, and wetter sensations. Now the red lights, which is also something we need to look out for, is clenching, pulling away, stopping and holding our breath, going quiet, because the truth is, all of us need to be better at communicating in the bedroom. Now, the G-spot release isn't just some secret trick or technique. It's about a prime sponge, a steady rhythm, calibrated pressure, and a partner who is actually tuned in. Shift your mindset from the goal of making her squirt to creating the conditions to allow her body to fully let go and get that release. And her body will take care of the rest. Now, like I said, if you want my exact positions, the angles, the fingering techniques, the rhythms, I've got all the troubleshooting in one place. Use the playbook to either learn together or apart. And then you're gonna bring only presence that you can bring. Make it your own individual experience so that you guys can blend and connect together. And I made this book because honestly, this is my most requested topic. So enjoy. The link is down below and I will see you next week for another video. Bye, babies.